What is up, everybody? How is it going? How's it going, guys? Welcome, welcome, welcome to a very, That's in there, yeah, that's in that PC. Yep, that's all in there. Yep, that's the part. And that's just, I don't know what that is, but yeah. Hey, what's up, everybody? Sorry about that. We are back. We are live. Welcome to a very special episode of Amazon Live. This one is sponsored by QNAP and Seagate, who, surprise, surprise, actually have some really awesome deals on network attached storage. And you might be thinking to yourself, Robey, why the heck do I need a NAS, right? So a couple of things. We're going to go through some deals today, specifically talking about network attached storage, direct access storage, and then of course, like kind of some of the pre-built bundles that they have. We are going to be giving you some code words for a giveaway that's going to be happening, plus of course giving away a $50 Amazon gift card because hey, we're Amazon Live. And then we're going to talk a little bit about, we're going to get one put together here on the show, talk a little bit about why you actually may need a NAS, because a lot of people sit there and say like, hey, Robey, I don't understand why I would need something so, so crazy, so technical, especially when you start to look at the price tags of what some of these things cost. And so, believe it or not, and there's been a ton of videos on this stuff that, believe it or not, you actually need it. But first, let's do introductions. It's been a little while. My name is Justin Robey. I'm the host of Robeytech. Robeytech is a show dedicated to PC building, tech news, tech deals, vlogs, all that sort of stuff. We continue to grow, and it continues to be a lot of fun. I am so stoked to have so many of you guys here, 100 of you over on Twitch, 81 over you hanging over on Amazon Live. I will tell you this, if you want to get in on the giveaways, you do want to move over to Amazon Live. We'll get you a direct link to that over there, because that's where we're going to be doing all of the giveaways to do. I always love to have my YouTube and my Twitch folks as well joining me. So if you do want to pop on over and you want to get part of the giveaways, this is mostly an Amazon Live thing, but again, because it's technical and all that sort of stuff, I wanted to include it because it's good content, I think, for my entire audience in general. Giveaways that are happening today, I've kind of talked about those a little bit already, but we are going to be giving away a $50 Newegg gift card, a $50 Amazon, wow, I'm so used to it. We're going to be giving away a $50 Amazon gift card here on the show. On top of, we're going to be giving away one of these QNAP as part of a larger giveaway that'll be happening, that'll start today. You're going to be getting three secret words that are going to be happening during the show. Those will give you 3 additional entries on top of that stuff, on top of the typical things. We'll be giving those near the end of the stream for you to basically get your entries in that you'll put into the Gleam, and we'll give you a link to the Gleam about halfway through the show. So stand by and we'll talk a little bit about that as well. And then lastly, big thing for me is just you guys are going to see a build. You guys are going to go through and see what NAS is. We're going to try and get it set up as much as possible. I'm going to talk to you guys about setup, and then again, what kind of some of the benefits for a home NAS, because again, the NASs that we're looking at today as part of this deal stream on Amazon are really focused on home users. Now, if you're a business user, these are great entry-level business user one for, of course, as well. But really, these are kind of stuff for like people who are who don't actually even know necessarily that a NAS is a good thing. So let's start with the basics for those of you who don't know what NAS is. Raise a hands. Who's a NAS? Anybody know and understand what NASs are? I'd be curious. So for those of you who don't know, a NAS means network attached storage, and it's no different than, I wish I had one here, but like basically one of those hard drives in a lot of ways, except for it does a whole lot more. But when you think about where NASs were kind of born from, they came from that idea that you used to carry around portable hard drives. And I think most people end up having a portable hard drive, whether that's one of those SanDisks or Seagates or anything like that we've shown at some point in time prior here on the show. And the thing is it's usually something you'll pop into your PC, usually in your USB 3 port, and you'll store your files and all that sort of stuff. But the thing that's so scary about something like that is that if something were to happen to that drive, all of your data is gone. That's right. That's nasty. That's the way to think about it. Not using a NAS is nasty. What these have evolved into is what's called a NAS, which are network attached storage. And the way to think about a network attached storage now is more like a personal cloud. It's a place to store your data more securely, usually having what's called data redundancy. And what data redundancy means is that should something happen to one of the drives that are in this NAS, then all in all, your data isn't completely gone. And then the other thing too is that from there, you can do something to recover it. And we'll talk a little bit about RAID and RAID 5 and all that sort of stuff a little bit later as we start to walk through the different options that are available from Seagate and QNAP as part of these bundles that are on sale as part of this Black Friday deal that'll be happening. So that's kind of the way it starts. And the thing is like they used to just be super cool in terms of being like, hey, here's a NAS. And all in all, it would do stuff like basically like it might automatically store things on the cloud. It might do things like, you know, media servers and stuff like that. But since you know, companies like QNAP have started to develop these, they've become a much richer ecosystem, having a lot more functionality than what you might be used to. And, you know, most people are like, hey, you know what, I might use it as a media server, meaning that I might just put a bunch of movies on it, and then I can stream like multiple 4K movies off of a single one of these. That's becoming a lot less frequent given that, you know, with things like Netflix, etc., but that might still be something. But there's more to it than that now that ends up becoming better, especially for families and households that have a lot of different devices, that there's a lot of data spread across, where this can become a central source for you to be able to store and save your very either important or private data that you want to store. And you may not want to have that on places like Google or Microsoft, etc., where a lot of these companies actually do things like sell your data and stuff like that. So if you want to have some privacy, that's where things like NASs and stuff like that can also come into effect. So like I said, today I'm just giving you a little bit of a rundown of what a NAS can do and why you might need a NAS. But first and foremost, I want to say hi to everybody because I see people say no to RAID 1 plus 0. There you go. A lot of people are basically already getting in there, throwing around some technical terms, which is always fun. People are like, they're probably like, that's not technical. But to some people it is, right? Like depending on the, you know, I want to give you guys an idea. Last time when we did one of these streams, we had 24,000 people tune in. So not everybody may necessarily know what a RAID is and so for that. So. But yeah, so I'm just seeing what we got in here and people just talking. Also good speed if you're backlogging. Yeah, 500 gigs of data. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about why as a home user do I need a NAS? And so let's go ahead and start with the first product on our product site, our product page, and we'll kind of start here because this is where most of our focus is going to be, because this is kind of your entry-level NAS. And you might sit there and say like, okay, Robey, this is $551. Why would I spend $551 on something that doesn't play games or whatever, you know, you basically look at from here? And believe it or not, I'm gonna kind of give you a couple of reasons. And first and foremost, the one thing about the way that this is configured is essentially you're getting 4 terabytes of storage. Now, for those people who don't know, 4 terabytes of storage is quite a bit of data for a family or an individual. And what something like this might provide is like, and this is how I use our NAS at home, is that we have a single NAS. Ours is 8 terabytes. And what we do is every single PC that I have is backed up onto that NAS. So my wife is a teacher, my kids who have broken laptops, lost laptops, all of their data is basically stored in a single location that's basically on our NAS. When I need to replace a laptop, I basically just bring it home, I put out Windows on it, and then I point it to a single direction, and then everything is just simply restored. And I never have to worry about, hey, did you lose any critical files and stuff like that? So again, and then the other thing too is that stuff continues to be synced over the web and over the cloud to basically just sit on my NAS. So that's one thing, right? So you basically now have a location. Hey, Aaron, I need you, you know, Aaron, my son is like, hey, I forgot, Dad, I forgot to get my paper that I forgot to write. Well, that's cool. So I just send a link from our NAS. The teacher's able to download it. He has access to it at all point in times, no matter what device. It's whether he can be at school or whatever. All I have to do is send him a link, and essentially he's able to get access to anything that he does. So he's never without his data should he need to. The last thing is, especially as your kids start to get older, they like to have media. Problem is that, you know what, I don't necessarily want companies in certain cases to have pictures of my kids or whatever they may do with that or whatever data they have. So you can actually set things like your phones, etc., to basically automatically sync and put their photos, etc., on your NAS instead of putting it on things like iCloud or OneDrive or Google Drive if you want to do that. So again, it also provides a place for you to have a central location for all of your family, all of your information. So should you want to basically have access to it, you have an opportunity to do that as well. The last thing that also ends up being super cool is that the other thing too is like for Xbox owners, especially those of you who are hardwired, you can also use this for things like game backup, etc. So having an Xbox, having your Xbox, you can basically have this be attached via direct USB to your Xbox One or your Xbox Series X, and you can offload games directly onto your NAS, and then you can pull them back at your very, very fast network speed to be able to pull your games directly back onto your PC. I mean, directly back, PC is another example, but directly back onto your console, which ends up being a whole lot faster than it would be if you were going to re-download it from, say, for instance, Xbox Live, etc. Right? Even though they have, like, they can do like 500-600 megs per second, a lot of times most of us have super fast internet, and we're able to, especially network connections within your own home. And you are, depending on the game, you can actually play games off of it. That is another option as well. And then again, I do know people, like we have done this, like especially for more conservative games, like for instance, like the Mass Effect remakes, like classic games, you can actually use this as a game drive for your PC as well. So it is just like any other drive that what you could do is you could set it up, map it at home, and basically you just have a drive where you can dump everything, and then the same thing is it becomes completely independent of whatever device you're using, which actually, until you set something like that up, it blows your mind how useful something like that actually is. So those are just some examples of where a NAS actually ends up being something that's super functional and useful at home. But you're like, Robey, I'm still, okay, great. You've given me all these great ideas. That all sounds awesome, but you're not getting me over that $550 price tag. Well, this is where this comes into play. Meet cloud storage, which so many of you guys actually use. Oops, right here. So many of you guys actually use cloud storage. So here we are, we're at Google Drive, and let's take a look at what 4 terabytes, so this one is coming up with 4 terabytes. If I wanted to do 4 terabytes of data, I wanted to save the same thing, and I just wanted to make sure basically do what I just explained to you, but have Google take care of it. That is $249.99 a year. So in 2 years, essentially, you will have paid Google the cost of what this is. The problem is the benefit is that this lasts way longer than 2 years. You can keep, again, 4 terabytes of storage for a family. All in all, that's something that you basically have access to, and once you've paid for it, you've got it for pretty much as long as the drives will last, which most of these have 10, 20-year warranties that come with it, plus data recovery, etc. So all in all, what you're doing is it's kind of like when you go to a cable company and you're talking to somebody like Comcast or Xfinity, and you're like, well, they're at the same company. Sorry, Tom. If you're talking to Xfinity and they're like, hey, would you like to pay for a modem or would you like to lease a modem from us? People who end up leasing a modem over a number of years actually end up saving money because they're basically don't know that they're actually paying a monthly fee that ends up equating to what essentially is the storage. And again, most people aren't going to do 4 terabytes. So that goes from there. Yeah. So again, B. Coldy is bringing up a really, really great point because he's like, hey, I backed up all of my home data on my 4 terabyte NAS in a RAID. Then I also sync to an 8 terabyte drive that backs up movies and plays Apex. And so let's talk about the 1, 2, 3s of basically data security, which is number 1, you basically want to at least have 3 locations in which your data is basically stored. And this is the safest thing for data redundancy. First, you want to have, like I said, 3 copies. You want to have one that's basically on something like a NAS or an external drive. And then the third one is you actually want to have that in some location off-site. And some people, like that can be Google, that can be a fire safe with a massive 8 terabyte drive that's uploaded on a regular basis. But for really, really important data, you definitely don't want to make sure, like if I was to have a fire here at Robeytech and all of our NASs burned down, I would lose basically what is essentially 2 years of important video files. So us offloading and putting things on offsite data storage is also really important, right? And so that's a great example, B. Coldy, of being able to do that stuff. So it's okay, Nichols and family, what's up? Cold drives offline in a safe. That also works, Rose. And that's the other thing too, is we have what's called cold storage. And that we're starting to get a little bit more complicated. But again, the point is that this is the part in where, especially in a world that starts to get more and more about data, that's where things like NASs can become a whole lot more important. And things like this QNAP that we've talked about, they do have built into them the ability to offload to like OneDrive, Google, etc., right? So it's just basically, you don't even have to worry about it. You can just essentially set it up, and then all of your stuff is basically written up there. Again, it doesn't save you the money. fair point. But the other thing too is in terms of your data security, you now essentially are you're now not going to lose your stuff for sure, which is actually pretty awesome. So going from there. So let's see if there's any other questions, and then we'll start going into the individual parts. But I wanted to kind of walk you guys through like a little bit about why NASs end up being so useful, especially when you start thinking about it, from a personal standpoint. And I think a lot of people just don't grasp that as something that they may necessarily need. Yeah, most people are probably fine with just the NAS, to be honest. Yeah, this again, if you were to win this NAS that we're giving away, I feel like this would last you a very long time. Like this would be a great NAS for you for 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, right? And again, with the data security that also comes with the hard drives, you're actually in really good shape. And so when Stream being so quick to fill the drives, this would be with, yeah, and so again, that's the Nicholson family. I think that's the big thing for us is like our NAS that we use here at Robeytech, which is also made by QNAP. Ours has 195 terabytes of storage. Ours is a big enterprise bay one if you missed that. And so, and of which most of that is actually cold storage for basically storing things off from there. So, I have a 12, look at all the people who have NASs. Let me just give a shout out to all the NAS people who are here enjoying this. Okay, well, for those of you who don't know, the good thing is that now we have some really great deals. I mean, like up to, we're talking about 15% off of NASs today. And so the first one that we're gonna talk about, and this is the one that we're actually giving away. We'll give a link to that here in just a few minutes for you to start giving the Gleam away, and then the Gleam link, and then I'll give you guys some of the secret words. But yeah, it would, this is where we're gonna start. So we're gonna build this one. Then we're going to give away, and this is the exact same one. This is the exact same one that we also are including in the deal right here. So this is the QNAP 2-bay NAS. It's got 4 terabytes of storage. Now we're putting in 2 4-terabyte drives, and these are Iron Wolf Pro drives. But because we're going to be setting up in RAID 1, so let's talk a little bit about RAID 1. The way there's multiple versions, and I've actually got a cool little. Actually, let's bring this up. I've got a cool little graphic right here. Where did it go? Hold on. I did. There it is. Here's a cool little graphic right here that shows you guys, PC capture, the differences between RAID 1 and RAID 5. So for those of you who don't know, and I like versus like me trying to talk about it versus explaining, I found this one. So RAID 1 is the one that this is like basically we only have 2 drives. There's 2 that are kind of the main one, RAID 1 and RAID 5. We're going to be using RAID 1 with this particular drive, which basically means that the one drive is going to be a mirror of the other drive, which means if something were to happen to one of the drives, all you have to do is go and purchase another drive, pop that in, and then your RAID is basically good to go. In other words, it is an exact replica, so you basically have data redundancy at that point in time. On some of the larger ones that we'll talk about when we get to the later on one, you'll talk about RAID 5, which basically means that something is mirrored and striped. So in other words, there's one disk that's basically used for parity, but you get the other 2 disks essentially worth of storage space. So it's actually a little bit more efficient from a storage perspective, but there is a higher chance of fail, right? There is still a higher chance of fail. It's not necessarily as data redundant as RAID 1. But performance on RAID 5 is actually very, very fast. And these are just some of the other things. If you guys want to take a look at it, it's talking about like minimum, given why are we doing RAID 1? Because we only have 2 drives. RAID 5, you need at least 3. It's talking about data access on RAID 5 versus RAID 1. But here's just kind of some ideas between the pros and cons for all of these different RAID arrays. So the other thing too is some of this stuff this is only if you were doing it when you basically talk about QNAP and their file systems, etc. There's a lot of things that they have their own file array and how they store data and stuff that actually what's the word? Mitigate some of the deficiencies that are if you were just going to use like Intel system for basically doing RAID, which are actually pretty cool. But anyway, that's the point is when I talk about setting something up in RAID 1, that's what we're talking about in this particular case. So with RAID 1, the one that we're doing here, this is the 2 gigabyte, this is the 2-bay NAS. It's got 4 terabytes of storage. It's pre-configured in RAID 1, which this one's not because we're going to build it so you guys can see it a little bit. It's got 2.5 gigabit Ethernet ports. And then it's also got 1 PCIe Gen 4 if you wanted to add an additional gigabit Ethernet port. And what that means is that, like, say for instance, you might have something where people add a second one and then they'll plug into 2 ports on the switch. So should something happen on one of the ports, you can still gain access to your You can still gain access to your QNAP if you needed to. So it's just another fail-safe for making things a little bit better. It's got 4 gigabytes of SODIMM, and you can actually add another 4 gigs to actually have 8 gigs of RAM, which just means faster access to your writing. And then it's got a 4K media playback, plus all of the other things that come free within their QNAP software, which is all built in. So that's the one that we're talking about here, and this one is on sale. Like I said, it's regularly $649. This one is $551.65, so almost $100 off. Which is actually a pretty good deal. And then you can see right here, looking at the thing, it's got 368 ratings, and it's got almost 4.5+ stars. So yeah, that's going from there. Yeah, and that's true. That's also true. Closed clutches, yes, you can do things like link aggregation. I'm trying to keep it simple because some people might be like, what? But that's where it is for now. So I was just showing you guys the thing. So let's go ahead and give it an open here. And then you guys can take a look at what's inside the box should you end up picking up one of these, or maybe even potentially winning one of these. So here it is right here. So we're gonna pull this up. So included is, of course, a power cable. And then you get all of your little extras. We'll go through that. And then, of course, I think the one thing that's always surprising is just how small these kind of things kind of are. And they're not the sexiest. Like, there's not a ton of RGB. You know what I mean? There's nothing like too crazy about it. But here we'll just do a physical overview of the drive right here. So we're just popping this open. So again, this is the TS. This is the 253D. The reason this is X is because this is obviously the non-bundled version. It looks like, and then again, we still have the plastic and everything on this. But what you're seeing here is that you can see here it's got HDMI out, so you can still directly access it. You've got a USB 3.1 plus 3 USB 2. You've got 2 actual Ethernet ports on this one. And then you've also got that PCIe Gen 4 slot up here at the top, which you have access to. In terms of gaining access to the drives themselves, all you got to do is basically, there's a little switch right here. Just pop that down like that. And then you just slide it open, and then now we have access to our drives themselves. And then the drives just pop out just like that. So we'll have 2 of them we're gonna put in here for now. Now, just because we like to be super thorough, let's go ahead and open this up so you guys can take a look at, where is my screwdriver set? It's all not, I forgot, it's at the house. Hold on one sec, guys. I gotta go grab my screwdriver. I forgot, we did all that traveling and I forgot to bring it back. 1 second. Okay, got it right here. So just to show you what you do have some options, and I want to make sure that you guys can see this a little bit with these particular devices to actually do some expansion. So should you end up picking up one of these, get this out of the way here. Should you end up picking up one of these are things you could definitely do as well. So what we're gonna do, just unscrew right there. Wow, stick to the rescue. I need to order another one. Okay. So here we go. And then you just basically pop this. I'm trying to remember how I do this. Oh, there it is. Yeah, it just pops open like that. Got a little bit of a peel here. There it is. It's unlocked. Oh, there it is. Sorry, I had it a little bit tighter than I want. Okay, so this is inside of the NAS. And a couple things that I just wanted to show you guys inside of it because it's important just to like make sure that, ooh, that was a good catch. I just caught that. Okay, so here's inside of our NAS. So again, right here, this is our RAM right here. So you got your SODIMM RAM right there. Like I said, you actually have slots for an additional 4 gigs of SODIMM if you wanted to add that. The other thing too is right here. Like I said, you actually have that. There's that expansion card right there for your if you wanted to add PCIe Gen 4. So if you wanted to add something like another network card, you can do things like add M.2 storage, which just helps with caching, which just means you can get access to your data a little bit faster. They're kind of it's definitely a little bit more of a what's the word, like advanced in terms of what you can do over there, but yeah, it's just worth showing off so you guys can see a little bit. And then of course you've got access to your bays, and you can see you've got hard drive 1 and hard drive 2, and then this is essentially your cooling fan to make sure everything stays cool and nice in general. Sometimes devices that are normally cold swapped can become hot swappable if they are part of the right system. A good example of this is hard drives. In many NAS and server systems, if the system supports hot swappable drives, it means you can remove or insert a hard drive without first shutting down the systems. Yeah. And again, I can look. I don't know for sure. I can ask QNAP, and then I can follow up on Discord if this does support hot swappable. I do know that RAID necessarily, because of how it's doing its mirroring, if something were to fail, but I don't know if the drives are necessarily hot swappable. That's a good question. Let's not start here. Good evening. Interested. Okay, I'm just trying to see if I don't know who you are fighting. People, yeah. I'm just seeing. It looks like people are talking about the different RAID setups, and that's totally fine. Thank you for posting that stuff inside. Okay, so here we go. Here it is right here. We're just gonna pop this back down, get it back together, but I want to at least show you, if you're like, hey, if I wanted to take this apart, what the inside of a NAS looks like. Nothing too crazy. And then of course you can do things like lock it so you can keep people from being able to take it apart if you want to, and gain access to like steal things if they wanted to. I think most people would probably just leave this alone, having no idea what it was, and maybe thinking it's a really nice toaster, so to speak. So, okay, oops. This does not support RAID 5 because this only has 2 bays. But you can't do RAID 5. You need a minimum of 3 hard drives to do RAID 5. Yeah. Okay, so there we go. Okay, so here's what we're gonna do. Unless you did like a DAS, and we'll talk about DAS because DAS is one of the products that's on the list. If you wanted to add a DAS that had RAID 5, you could do that if you wanted to. So, okay, so here is our drives. So we're gonna pop this open. We're just gonna do a little bit of peels here. And then we're going to install our 2 drives and get those in here as well. Okay. So here we go. These are the drives we're going to be using. These are the Iron Wolf Pro. These are the Iron Wolf NAS 4 terabyte drives. Because they're going to be in RAID 1, we're not going to RAID 0 them because we care about data redundancy and having them set up. So these will be set up the exact same way as the pre-configured bundle. We will be doing these in RAID 1, which means one will be a mirror of the other, meaning that this one will have a total of 4 terabytes of full storage when you're done. Yeah. Yeah. Okay, so here we go. It says, I use USB drives, Google Drive, and Mega for backups. Do I need NAS if I don't do content creation? I browse net, play games, and torrent. So Jonas, it just depends on how useful your data is and where you want to have access to it. The one thing I will say is like Google, the one thing about Google, and again, some of this is predicated on how powerful your home network is, but network access storage, storage to your NAS can be a whole lot faster than it is to your Google Drive. So if you want to have stuff that you can get off of it a whole lot faster, you can. The other thing too is that what's nice about NAS versus like those other solutions is where you can use things like this for storage in a way that is not dependent on whatever hardware you have. So it's really kind of a personal choice, but I will say, given what you probably potentially pay for some of that stuff, you can use Google Drive in a much smaller capacity and then do the majority of your probably larger storage on something like a NAS, which is going to end up being cheaper in the long run. Yeah. Do you know if these drives are SMR or CMR, Robey? They are the same. I don't know, Thomas, can you get a link to the drives? The drive link should be in the Amazon stuff. You can check that yourself, Clueless. I don't know off the top of my head. My new 4 terabyte Seagate makes weird noises. Our Bushy, I would just reach out and reach out to support. It shouldn't. It's not the way it's supposed. Shouldn't be making weird noises. It might be talking to you in devil speak. So be afraid. That is true, or chaos, and that's another good idea. Like if people are like interested in, like you're like, hey, if you have any old systems lying around, you could, because I mean, this is running basically, I think this is running a Celeron processor. I don't remember which one. Let me see what the processor is in this one. I'll take a look here. I have it right. Here it is. So this one is. Yeah, it's a Celeron. Yeah, this is running a Celeron J4125 4-core, 4-thread processor. So, which, I mean, if you think about what some of your old systems might be, like you might actually have something that's just as good that could just be a NAS. Though, then you're losing some of the support you're having to use. Like you can't do like download QNAP's NAS software. At least I don't think you can. So you'd have to use something like that's more freeware. And that's completely up to you in terms of what you want to do. Hey, what's up, Elena? Elena? It's good to see you. Okay, there we go. So we got everything basically right there. That's weird. Let me see what that is. Hold on. Trying to find out what that is. Oh, it's this person. Hold on. There you go. Okay. So now we've got everything. We basically have our drives ready to go into our NAS at this point in time. So I'm going to do real quick. So I'll pop this open. Grab a couple of and then talk about some of the other things that are going to come with this. Obviously, the cool thing is you also get network cables, which are awesome, and then you also get your power brick, which is going to be important as well. Let me see if there's, I think that's kind of it. And then you also, here's your warranty. So you've got your extended warranty, because again, all of these come with your extended warranty. And then again, these also come with a installation guide that shows you how to basically install your drives if you wanted to. But I will tell you, when we actually get to the wizard and use QFinder and stuff like that, you'll see that this is actually a pretty easy system to get set up and running pretty quickly. And that's the one thing that's really nice about the wizards. Just one thing is like people are like, well, I want to get one of these, but how hard is it to set up? And you'd be surprised just how easy it is to really just set something like this up. So what we're going to do right now is just grab a couple of our screws and get these installed. Oh, I had no idea we were over here. Hey, what's up, Fran? It's good to see you. No, it was basically somebody on Game Bar. Somebody is inviting me to play some game. I don't know what it is, so I just muted it on my PC. So fixed. Okay, there we go. We're just getting this. Getting this set up, getting this secured, so we don't have it shooting around like a crazy thing. So I want to make sure these don't pop out, because whoever's going to win this, we obviously want to make sure that they don't have their drives shooting around. So we're just going to be a little extra secure. Can you update to a 10 gig new? Yes, you can, Edward. They have that option. These are just expansion cards that you can basically purchase. Okay, we're just screwing this in real quick. Well, that's good. Yeah, I love the OLED switch. Love it. It's one of my favorites. That's awesome. Yes, Al Bundy, it does, but it does have a slot on that PCIe Gen 4 if you wanted to go something a little bit faster. It's up to you. Okay. So we've got that all squared away now. Just going to get this all kind of put away for a second and go from there. Okay, so our drives are all set up and ready to get installed. And we'll get it turned on. Actually, hold on. Okay, so it's all good there. Okay. So now everything is good, and then what we're going to do is you can basically take this, just put it the right side up, and then we just pop them in. There's one and two. Now the cool thing about the ones that you can purchase is that everything comes pre-configured. So this is actually going to be a little bit cold. That's something that you won't have to necessarily worry about. When you purchase one of the bundles itself, like the pre-builts, the bundles themselves are actually completely pre-configured. So all of the stuff that I would do, like now if I were to basically turn this on, you wouldn't have to, you would not have to do. Now we might show, I'm gonna go ahead and turn it on and kind of get it ready to go. But this is stuff that you won't necessarily have to worry about, because all it is, when you basically pick one of these up, it's just basically plug and play, and it's good to go. So I'm gonna untwisty tie this real quick. And again, even building one yourself, right? Like you can see just how simple this is. And these bundles end up saving you a ton. Yeah. Jason Green, if I was gonna do it, it's basically, I usually do 2 terabytes. That's usually enough for caching for this size. So you could even get away with a 1 terabyte if you wanted to. So just so you know, on our 192 terabyte one, we have 4 terabytes of drive space for caching. So you don't need more than that. Okay, so here it is. It's all plugged in. And yeah, let's hit the right button. Oh, there it goes. And it's on. And we have it. Okay, so while we're doing this, and while it's like basically doing its little thing right now, it should just be turning on, and yeah, it's just doing its I/O. There it is. Oh, it's all alive. Let's see. I think, do I have it on here? QFinder. No, okay. I'm going to go ahead and download. So I'm going to go here. I'm going to go to the World Wide Web. Download QFinder from. Here it is. Okay. Getting this downloaded real quick, and then we'll talk through the other ones that are in here. So while that is downloading, let's talk about some of the other ones that are on the carousel, some of the other deals. Should you be like, hey, like that, this all sounds awesome, Robey, what are these other ones that are in here? So again, the first one we were talking about, and we just got finished basically setting up right here, and you're seeing this, and we'll be giving this away. We're giving this away via Gleam. Actually, let's go ahead and put the Gleam link in the chat right now. Blondie, if you guys want to put the Gleam link in the chats, both on Twitch and on YouTube, on all the chats. The Gleam, the first secret word, and you want to go over to the Gleam to put it in there, is going to be RAID 1. RAID 1. So here's the link right there for the giveaway. Don't forget, we're still going to give away a $50 Amazon code today here on the show, but for you to enter the NAS, you have until the middle of December, and there it is. First code is RAID 1. First code is RAID 1. So there it is. Code 1 is RAID 1. Okay, so this is the first one we just got finished talking about. You're like, oh, it's $551. We already talked a little bit about why something like this might be a great deal. Again, saving you some money on Google, especially in subscription services. You know, we talked about like how it can be used as a direct media server. You've got your own personal cloud. You've got 4 terabytes of storage, which I mean, just on Google alone would end up costing you, just in 2 years, you would basically pay this thing off if you wanted the same amount of storage on a cloud, in a cloud location. So this one, and again, this comes pre-configured, so everything that you guys kind of saw me do, this is stuff you wouldn't have to do if you were going to do the same thing. The drives are installed, it's RAID 1 ready, you basically turn it on, you use QFinder, it's ready to go, it's already got its storage drives and everything like that all set up. So that it's basically basically good to go right out of the box. And then again, you can still expand this to 8 gigs of RAM. You can still add some expansion. So this isn't just, you know, this isn't like, hey, bare minimum, and you've got what you've got. You actually do have some solutions. And again, you can use bigger drives if you wanted to, but not with obviously with the pre-configured bundles. Now let's say, for instance, you got this, and then you're like, well, what about this one, Robey? This one says QNAP 4 bay. That's more storage, and this has got 12 terabytes in RAID 5. But why is this also 55165? And you might think, wow, well, I don't understand. They're both the same. Well, the difference is that this one right here is what's called DAS, which is direct access storage. And what this means is that this is something that you, like if you want to basically, you have a media server at home and you basically just want to have something that plugs in via USB. This is like a really, really big, external hard drive. And it's still pre-configured, it's still set up with RAID, it still has some of the things, but again, it doesn't have all of the network capacity that you have with something like a NAS. Now, what these things end up being really cool for is for things like cold storage, and what we have some of these, and what these are is that these are directly connected to something like this, where you're like, hey, Robey, I just got finished, I ran out of storage space on my 2 terabyte. I don't want to go buy another NAS. Well, that's where you can buy something like a DAS, direct access storage. I'm sick of using 3-letter acronyms. This is where you can do something like buy a 3-letter acronym. This is where you can buy a 3-letter acronym. This is where you can buy something like a direct access storage to go and expand this and actually make it a whole lot bigger, which in this case would be 12 terabytes. It's already pre-configured, and then QNAP, of course, this being another QNAP device, automatically knows how to read it and make it a little bit bigger. So this is like expansion, or if you really wanted to just have something that was data redundant that you could literally use off of like your Windows machine for media editing or media creation and stuff like that, which is actually pretty cool. But that is why you're like, oh, I don't understand. It's because a lot of the functionality that exists within something like this doesn't exist in the direct access storage thing. It's a little bit simpler, and that's why it's a little less expensive. Let's talk about the third option if you want to get super crazy, and that is this is what's called our 4-bay 4K transcoding. This is a 12 terabyte pre-configured, and this is their 451D2, which actually looks a lot like this right here. So this is a 4 terabyte version right here. This one is actually, I forgot what's in this one. This one is our own personal one right here. This one's been expanded to all heck, by the way. So we'll go to our top down to just kind of show you. This is like the fully expanded version of this. This one actually has the included M.2s installed into it already. We've got the extra drive bays. This one has more RAM, and then the other thing too is I think this one is running. I think this is all 16 or 12 terabyte drives. I'm going to see here in a sec. Yeah, and then this is running. Oh, my bad. This is running all 18 terabyte drives. So this is like all 18 terabyte drives right here. So again, this is but this exact same kind of model, 18 terabyte drive. And then this is for something if you're like, hey, I want to have something that can be a little bit bigger, and I also want to support something like RAID 5. And so this is the RAID 5 version, and then it has all of the same kind of cool expansion, etc. stuff that you can do as well. So these are actually really, really nice. That's a lot of data, but it also says 4K. So 4K is like, again, they think about the media server. That's one of the big things that used to be kind of a bigger selling point for a lot of these network attached storage was their media service capabilities. But I think in the world of Netflix and Peacock and all of those other things, which, you know, it ends up being a little bit less important. And so that's where you see that 4K stuff show up quite a bit, because it'll do 4K hardware transcoding and all that sort of stuff. So again, if you want to go something just a little bit bigger, this one is $755, regularly $899. This one is $889. This was on sale for $755.65. And again, you get quite a bit. And this one comes with 12 terabytes of storage, even though it shows 4. If you're looking at the PC capture right here, you're seeing it say, oh, well, it's got 4 drives, Robey. It's like, well, yeah, but one of those drives is dedicated to striping and parity. And so that's why even though you've got 16 terabytes of storage installed, you've got 12 terabytes of available space in RAID 5. So, there you go, Orcast. It's gotten more important, in my honest, to have local transcoding. Okay, yeah. Everything is so split up now on different services, so you have your own. You don't have to pay for every month. Might be cheaper. It's funny. Clueless actually brings up a good point. I know some people who still do their own local transcoding and saving it. It could be, but again, there's a lot of weird red tape that gets around that when you start going into that stuff. How much just makes you think how far we can push these drives for data. I think one of the things that you will start to find out, and this is kind of like my core key component as we work through this right now. If you really want to start thinking about purchasing one of these is more like how much you can streamline your work processes or even your family processes with a device like this. And I think that's the part that people, until you have one, you don't really understand how useful these things can become. And it's hard for me to try. It's hard for me to try and kind of explain that to folks sometimes. But the truth be told is, like, I think my kids on more than one occasion have literally been like, "Man, you know what, Dad? I'm so glad that we have this because I was doing X and I needed to get access to paper Y, or I was doing X and I needed to get access to assignment at Y." Or my wife was like, "Hey, I was at X's house and I needed to basically show him this thing or her this thing." And basically, because we have this personal NAS, we were able to do that. And I never have to worry about, and the problem that I've had up until before we had something like this was like, hey guys, sorry, you know, kid, you can't, you know, son, daughter, you know, whatever, you can't upload any more pictures because you are taking up all the drive on our iCloud or all the drive on our OneDrive or all the drive on all the space on our X, right? With something like this, that ends up becoming very, very hard. And this can, something like 4 terabytes can last you a very long time. And in the end, you end up saving money in the long run if you're willing to pay the upfront cost at the beginning. And that's why an opportunity like this ends up being really nice when they have sales like this at Amazon Live, as at Amazon, because in the end, you might up into having something that's like, oh, this is awesome. And now I've basically got something that has that protects my data. And then the other two is like, then the other thing that's also super nice is like, hey, my daughter, her laptop was stolen. When she did that, and it was like, hey, my laptop's gone, I didn't freak out near as much because, again, I knew everything was replicated on her drive. We had nothing to access. We basically remote wiped the machine, and then, you know, if anybody was ever to turn it back on, and then she basically got access to her. We had all of our access to her data, so we went and got our new laptop, put it down, got it all recovered, and she was off to the races as if nothing had happened. And that's where things like backups, etc., can end up saving you a lot in the short term. So. Oh, they had Best Buy had Founders cards available today. Oh, that's unfortunate for me. But yeah, that's where it is right now. I'm running a Plex server for my PC using multiple drives, including externals. A NAS would be perfect solution. There you go. Our Bushy is basically bringing up a lot of that stuff right there. If Wi-Fi internet is down, can you still access data offline? So yes, Blimp, yes, you can. So what it's like is it's basically you have it replicating. So it exists on your laptop, but it also exists on your NAS. And your NAS, when network is available, is basically just making sure that it's resolving the file. So yes, you can do that. So that answers that question. I know we're starting to use petabyte adding up in storage. Wow, that's crazy. One terabyte can hold about 1 hour 4K video at 16.9 aspect ratio. Yes. If you are, so Casio, if you're talking about using this as like a media server, you're starting to, or like stuff like that, you're starting to get into a very different situation. Again, you have to think about like how much, you know, here I have, you know, my phone, and if I go and look at my phone and check out my data usage, and I'm going to say iPhone storage, and this one is I'm trying to remember how big this one is, but this one has everything synced on it from like, you know, whatever. And then I've only used like 25% of the storage on this thing, and that's including games and everything else, right? And so this has got a lot of basically data on it, and I'm still waiting for it to go. But so this has got 256 gigs, of which I've got less than a quarter that I've actually used, and it's got what? How many pictures are on here? With like basically years of photos. I've got to find them in here. I'm trying to find it. It's a ton, but that's where most of my stuff. I've got 15 gigs of music on here. And then when I talk about my photos, it makes it too hard. I'm trying this. I thought this would be easier, but I just have too many apps. I'm gonna find my photos, guys. It's gonna be here. Bear with me. It's a real thing. Where the heck are photos? Oh, this is a fail. It's because I'm trying to like find it quickly. Okay, whatever, it's not in here. Point is, there's a lot of photos on here and I've still only used a quarter. So again, when you think about that, and I'm using 256 gigs and I got less than a quarter, you can imagine how long 4 terabytes is gonna last you. Oh, Robert A., that's a really great point too. So that was something else I completely forgot about, which is access. The one thing that is also nice about this is that usually limiting access to your OneDrive. So like, for instance, like I use OneDrive, and all the person who has access to most of this stuff is only available to pretty much me, and that's fair. I mean, you know, trying to make it so I can allow other people outside of just inviting them to my root drive is about all you can do. The one thing that is nice about this is you can set up access to something like this with multiple users, which is something that you can't do necessarily in an elegant way with a lot of these storage solutions. So that's a good point right there, Jay Blue Eyes. Robert, I mean, how easy is it to create exclusions for things that you don't want to use space up for a backup? It's actually pretty easy, right? Because again, when you basically select your stuff inside of the application, and you're like, hey, I want to, you can select the things specifically you want to back up, and it can be folders, whatever. And so you can either select, you can either back up whole images, like for instance, if you don't want to worry about backing up windows, etc., or you can select specific folders. Because what we've done is we've essentially mapped drives, which means we have a specific drive for Madeline, Aaron, etc., that exists on their laptops. They just have, that's the only thing that we essentially back up because they don't necessarily care about the other things that are on there. Because, you know, for instance, so they're My Documents drive. One of the cool things about Windows, and I'll show you this if you don't know this. So let's go, we're gonna do this, hold on. So what we'll do is here we are on a Windows PC. And, okay, so here we are. Oh, no, I'm not on, yeah, I am. I'm on a Windows PC. And then you can open up your drive. And then you can, so here I've got my OneDrive, but I can do something like this. I go choose my documents, and I can go to Properties. And then see where it says custom location. This right here, where it says whatever it was, I basically have a drive that exists on our network storage that essentially they have mapped that just goes from there, and then everything that they do is out of that single drive. And then the only thing I'm backing up is what is in that location. So that's an example of something where I'm only backing up specific data. So, okay. Let's talk about, by the way, code 2. Why don't you go ahead and go ahead and post code 2 real quick. Let me go to this. I'm just basically getting this going in there. There's our other, the Vault. Oh, that's, never mind, that's our other one. Okay, so here we go. We're gonna get code 2 up here real quick. So code 2 is for the giveaway. QNAP. That's right, code 2 is QNAP. So that's, you go to your Gleam link, go, there are both, yeah, RAID 1 is the first code. Code 2 is QNAP. So if you want to pop on over, pop on up to that Gleam link, you can put that in. Now, guys, we are getting ready to start. We are getting ready to start our giveaway over here on Amazon here very shortly for our Oh, you know what? I know why it's not seeing it. Just would help if I gave it network. Robey. Okay. We are getting ready to start our giveaway over for our $50 Amazon gift card. If you want to get in on that, which we're going to do here in about 5 minutes, pop on over to Amazon Live. We're going to give you the link. You want to pop on over to Amazon Live because we're going to be giving that away on Amazon Live specifically. So if you're over at YouTube and you're over at Twitch right now, pop on over to our Amazon Live stream, which we're giving you the link for there. And then that's where you'll be able to get entered to win the $50 gift card for Amazon. So I'm just going to give you a little bit of time here. Now I'm going to go and search for my QNAP here. There it is. The Vol, no. Okay, here we go. There it is right there. Okay. So what we're doing right now is we're just basically, I'm just going to go show you for this while we're getting this set up, is we're basically going to start our current version. We're going to check for update, just making sure that we're updated. So this is just showing you how simple this thing is here, and then we're good there, and then hit skip because we're selected for current version is good. We're happy, and we're going to name this for now. We'll just leave it. We'll leave it what it is. We're not going to make the password crazy. We're just going to make it password, even though it's because I want to be able to wipe this. And last time, if anybody remembers, I completely forgot it. So the password is password. And then we're going to set it not to Midway Island. We're going to set it to Pacific time. And then we're going to synchronize. That's fine. Next, obtain an IP address automatically. And then you have the choice, of course, if you want Windows, Mac, and Linux. So again, these work on all three. The one that I think it comes pre-configured for Windows, and there's the name of our whole thing, and we hit apply, and then we just hit initialize. Okay. And then we're just going to wait. Okay, so that's all. So it's initializing right now, which, I mean, we're not going to be able to do more than all that. But let's go ahead and do code 3. Code 3, if you want to get in on that giveaway thing, doing code 3. Basically, code 3 is Seagate. So code 3 is Seagate. So again, those are the 3 special codes that we're going to be giving away. Seagate, yeah, there you go. Jesmer, look at it. Look at you guessing. So we got RAID 1, QNAP, and Seagate. Those are the 3 codes if you want to get in on that giveaway. Again, there's a close on the 15th. We'll announce the winner on Twitter, and then you'll get your chance to basically win. But what we want to do now is we probably want to give away that $50 Amazon gift card. So, but before I do that, I want to ask, is there anything that I can answer about using a NAS as a home user, somebody who's basically wanting to do home, getting into this, especially with these really great deals on Amazon? Is there something that we didn't answer or that people might want to do? Again, couple things. One, media server. The other thing too is just a distributed network for your family, allowing you easier for backup for important data. Has a lot of services and extra services like for workflows and things like that are all free that come with the software that you actually get with your NAS as well. And then the other thing too is like it can save you money in the long run because of how much the storage is costing you. Even though it's a higher upfront cost, in the end you'll save money over time. So is it important to have the exact same drives in the RAID? Yes, because they have to, they have to be the same size. And again, you also want to make sure that you're using drives that are compatible with the NAS, right? But they do need to be at least the same size and same speeds. It is pretty idiot-proof, yes. They really try to make it very idiot-proof so people can just use them. How to automate backups from computer to NAS? Okay, so Jonas Prees, that's actually pretty easy. What I'll do is I'll set up some different videos for some of that stuff. Maybe we'll do another video follow-up on how to basically automate backups. But it's actually just there's actually a tool in QNAP that what it does is you basically, we can show it a little bit. I won't be able to show it today because it's going to take too long. But what it does is you just basically download that app, go in there, you select your PC, then on your you install a similar app on your PC. You select the folders you want it to do, and then it automatically syncs. It's actually very, very easy. Code 2 and 3 not working. Yeah, copy and paste the words. When you share a link to a specific file, do you use the home IP address or is it a domain of some? So Clueless Klutz, it actually does. So the cool thing about it is most of it, what it'll do is it'll do without port forwarding. So when you actually share a link, it does some obfuscation. Oh, sorry, it just scared me. And then same thing with accessing it remotely. It's just it's a pretty simple process for it to basically get up, and then it does a lot of the stuff. It basically uses an obfuscation in terms of it goes through QNAP services, and then QNAP services is the part that actually goes and gets your basically gets your data for you, if that makes sense. Is it just as easy to back up on a phone? Yes, there's an app for it. Yes. So setting up a no, I would say CB Demented, aka Sir. No, that is definitely not the thing to go do. Is to go get a setup in Essentials. Jonas, let me find the name of the app for you real quick. QNAP backup app. It is called. Yeah, it's called Hybrid. I think it's called Hybrid Backup Sync is the name of the actual app. And it's free with your, it's just basically, and they do it with devices. You can also do it and it can get super, oh wait, this might just be oh, never mind, that's the really powerful one. Never mind, Hybrid Backup, that's for enterprise, sorry. Okay, here you go. And it's, so they have, it's Windows. So if we just want to do Windows backup, and then they have, it's like basically, using file history, what you can use your file history backup in Windows library, contacts, favorites, QNAP, advanced settings. Just choose how often you want to save the copy. So you basically just in Windows, you go to your backup file history, and then you can add a drive. So you can map a drive and then add it there, and it'll pop it that way. There's also an app. I just need to find it. Let me get back to you on that. Yeah, it is. I think there it is right there. Hey, thanks, Gav. QSync Pro. That is it. Sorry. If you were going to set up a dual boot system for NAS, would you do Windows 10 Windows Server for your NAS, or just run Windows Server and do a VM for Windows and NAS. So if I was gonna basically set up an external NAS, then I'd basically I wouldn't do a dual boot. I guess if you wanted to, and then running something like FreeNAS or whatever it was, might be an option. So yeah, if you guys wanted to get the Amazon, then you need to pop over and use the Amazon for that stuff. What's your favorite screwdriver? The Wow Stick, Artist Unknown, the Wow Stick, for sure. So thank you, QSync Pro. Yeah, that's the name of the app. Let me just verify that online, and then it's stupid easy. And you can download it on Google. It's basically cross file sync for individuals. Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, it's pretty cool. Okay, sorry about that, Jonas. I apologize. Okay, so let's get ready for. So yeah, this will do increase. Yeah, this is the. Here's the whole website on it, and we can get you. Let's get a link for it for people. But if you go to here, here's the whole thing, and so it's like showing you how it basically group collaborate. Like, I use this for family, but it's like real-time sync on all your devices, so you're pro, and then it'll just basically sync them between everything, which is actually pretty cool. And then there's a bunch of stuff in terms of what else it does and things like that. So that's the thing is, like, if you were to pick up one of these, like that would take some time. There's an app store with literally tons and tons of apps that is included in this, to just find probably things like even stuff like Adobe Cloud integration and all that sort of stuff that's all built into something like this, which is actually pretty rad. What's up? How you doing, Tyler? It's good to see you. Okay, let's do the giveaway. Pop on over. Okay, here's what it's going to do. Do hashtag QNAP, hashtag QNAP in the Amazon live chat. If you want to be eligible to win, hashtag QNAP in the Amazon live chat. If you want to basically get in to win that $50 Amazon Amazon gift card. It's only if you're over on. We're going to go until 2:08, so you have 2 minutes, and then basically Blondie's going to choose a winner. Hashtag QNAP over on Amazon Live if you want to get in on that $50 Amazon gift card. So hashtag QNAP, guys, and go from there. I hope I was able to answer your question. I know sometimes it's kind of hard, right, with some of this stuff to go through there. But again, definitely check out those deals. All three of them right there down below you. We have something for DAS, definitely stuff for NAS, and then also stuff for like a more entry-level NAS, like for instance this 2-bay one that we're actually giving away today. So some pretty awesome stuff. Can you set up multiple file, like partition for Windows and Linux and phones? No, not on this. It uses, so the way that this works is this uses QNAP's own operating system. So this does not have Windows on it. It has QNAP's operating system on it in this case. Yeah, so going there. Since the upper speed limit is usually going to the network, I wouldn't worry about the speed of the net. That is definitely true, yeah. Okay, here we go. Sorry guys, I wish I could have like had time to go and show the installation and stuff like that, but it wasn't going there. But here I can give you guys an idea as it pops up here. So here's the PC capture. So this is an idea of all the stuff that's basically in here, and then so this is and like here on the actual QNAP, you can see this thing called I'm actually on it right now. You can open the App Center. We haven't put it, again, there's no files or anything on this right now, but it's just going on this stuff. Oh dang. We'll do this here in a minute. It's always the problem, right? Like when you first boot one up, we have to update the thing. Okay, continue. Hopefully it'll keep it on there. Okay, never mind. Well, I tried. We just have to firmware update, so it's fine from there. But again, you can see it's not an OS. It's got its own OS, so it's not necessarily a normal one. Okay, so I'm just waiting. Blondie's going to choose a winner in just a. We're gonna be seeing a winner here pretty soon, so I'm just waiting for her to text me with a winner. Can you run Plex on that? No, this is, again, you run QNAP specific stuff This is their hardware with their operating system. If you wanted to do something like that, you could build your own NAS. That is something that's within your portable. Do these support login via SSH, or does it give you desktop-like environment in the browser? The one that I've done is all using a desktop environment on the browser. I don't actually know if it has SSH or not. You'd have to look. It's clueless. Sorry. Going from there. Okay, cool. Oh, it does have. Okay, so blind. Yeah, he is. So well, I don't know. I called. So I just got confirmation. Yes, it has. It does have. It actually does have SSH, and you can also use it with WINS as well, right? WINS. Okay, so and it also uses WINS, so you can just map it as a network drive. So there you go. There's your answer right there. Our guy who sets up all of our QNAPs are right here, and he just got finished going through it. Hopefully that answers your question. Okay, congratulations to Cato Avils. Cato Avils, you are the winner of the $50 Amazon gift card. So congratulations, Cato. You are the winner. I just did. So congratulations, Cato. Yay! There he is, right there. So yeah, mine just had an update, so it's like, and so it's like basically trying to update right now. So going from there. Anyway, guys, I hope this was useful. Can I get a raise of hands in the chat if this was useful? If you guys found something like this useful, if we did more of these very specific ones on like tech stuff like QNAPs and stuff like that. And then if you have feedback, like for instance, if people are like, hey, what's the name of the backup, or other things that I can make sure I cover if we were to do something like this again, please head over to Discord and let me know, because I want to make these better. Again, these are supposed to be mostly for you, and I try to make them. And so, sometimes I will tell you, like, sometimes I don't know everything. I try to know as much as I can. And then people ask me questions. I'm like, that is a great question. Luckily, I have, people on my team who are here helping me answer some of those. Good. Some people are saying awesome. Okay, good. If you have feedback or other things I can do to make it better, please let me know. If you're over on YouTube, just put it down in the comments below. If you're over on Discord, pop it in. Twitch, please go to Discord so we have some place to basically know where we can get feedback. That's all the stuff I'd love to know as well. The winner for the $50 Amazon gift card. Now, just real quick before we log off for the day, I just want to remind people the codes were RAID 1, QNAP, and Seagate. Those are the three codes for the to get your entry in for this particular giveaway that we're going to be giving away. We're going to be giving away the QNAP 2-bay NAS. This will be 4 terabyte storage, and it's going to be their TS-253D-4G. So there it is. There's your codes right there. So good. I'm glad. I appreciate it, guys. I'm glad people. It was useful knowing about such stuff for backups. Hey, good, cool. Awesome. Okay, guys, well, I hope you guys enjoyed the show. We will be back later on today for a full build. So we're building a $2,700 system. This is going to be a 5900X with the 3070 Ti in the Fantex P500A. Should be an absolutely blast of a build. And then, yeah, that's where we're at right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this. I'm looking forward to seeing it. Clueless. Because with the NAS, there's not much to physically build. Most of it's in the software. Did he have feedback? Oh, it felt like he was telling me something. Clueless. Yeah, Clueless, that's a good point. I think next time we'll just spend some more time in the software. That's a good point. Let me see for the QNAP. Okay. Anyway, guys, have a great day. We'll see you in just a little bit. Appreciate it. Bye, guys.